Republican members, including Representative Jim Jordan, who stated in an interview about your report, and I quote, "I think one of the big takeaways is the exact same people who ran the Clinton investigation, who had a bias in favor of Clinton, who did all of these things that are not the typical practice when you're doing an investigation. Those same people took over and ran the Russian investigation." You know, these are serious allegations, and I'd like to address them head on. Mr. Horowitz, did you find any evidence that James Comey took any investigative actions in the Clinton matter based on political bias and, quote, in favor of Democrats and against Republicans?
We did not find evidence that Mr. Comey had acted out of political bias.
And your investigation uncovered 5 FBI employees who had exchanged texts or instant messages reflecting strong personal political views, but you found that even those individuals did not let their personal political views determine the outcomes of the Clinton matter. Your report states, and I quote, "Our review did not find documentary or testimonial evidence directly connecting the political views these employees expressed in their text message and instant messages to the specific investigative decisions reviewed." And you also quote, "In some instances, Strzok and Page advocated for more aggressive investigative measures in the mid-year investigation, such as the use of grand jury subpoenas and search warrants." Did you find that there is a pro-Democrat or anti-Republican conspiracy at the FBI or Justice Department?
We didn't reach the question of whether there was a conspiracy or not. We've just laid out here what the text messages indicated, and as you noted, the fact that the specific decisions we reviewed, we found weren't impacted or affected or resulted from political bias.
I see. Do you know if the Office of Professional Responsibility is taking any actions on the subjects that you have on the people in this?
Director Wray testified yesterday that he had provided our information and report to the FBI's Office of Professional Responsibility.
I see. Thank you so much for your responses. And at this time, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to yield my remaining time to the gentlewoman from Texas.
Gentlelady is recognized for 33 seconds.
Mr. Director, excuse me, Mr. Horowitz, did you investigate any questions about Mr. Rosenstein's actions in your report as it relates to any inappropriate behavior?
No.
I didn't hear you, sir.
No.
And did you, let us finish the question that I had dealing with the FBI agents in the Southern District of New York. You did confirm that they leaked. Is that not correct?
We did not say anything at all about whether they leaked or didn't leak. We're not speaking or speak at all to who we were looking at or what we're looking at, other than we're looking at the issues we were asked to look at about investigative leaks.
And so you will continue that investigation?
We will.
All right. Thank you very much. I yield back.
Gentlelady from Texas yields back. The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Goldman, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Horowitz, there has been a massive amount of bias documented by you in your investigation. You've concluded with recommendations that appear to just be more policies of the same policies with the FBI, the DOJ already had. You understood it was already against FBI and DOJ policy to let bias come into play in these investigations, correct?
Absolutely.
Well, you made references in your report, even quoted from unnamed but numbered prosecutors and agents. Have you given us the names of those individuals?
So we have a request for them, and we are...
So you haven't given us the names, and now you can't decide whether you're going to give them to us?
No, well, let me be clear. We engaged the committee on this. We went to the FBI. The
Okay,
FBI raised the concern.
The answer is no, you haven't given them to us. So let me just tell you, we're here because prosecutors and agents at the DOJ have been biased, and it may have, and some of us believe you've laid out a case that bias did affect what was going on. And then you come in here and say, we're going to number these people. We're not going to let you know who they are. But let me ask you this. Have you checked to see what normally wouldn't matter, how they voted in a presidential election, except when you're investigating a nominee or a president? Do you know how they voted? Did they donate money to either of the candidates?
I have no idea how they voted, and I don't have an idea.
You're bringing this investigation in here based on and are utilizing opinions and information provided by prosecutors and agents who may be just as biased as the people that we're investigating. We just don't know because we hadn't seen their texts, we hadn't seen their emails. Normally, if putting back on my my felony judge hat, if a jury is going to make a decision on guilt or innocence of a felony of say, a presidential nominee, I'm going to let them ask the jury panel, did you vote for this person? Did you give money to this person? Do you have a bumper sticker for this person? Did you put a sign in their yard? Did you talk this person up? And yet you're coming in here, you don't know if these people you were relying on actually had any biases like the very ones you were investigating. Well, let me ask you this. Among the supervising special agents you referenced and the prosecutors, do you have any idea of the percentage that may have voted for Hillary Clinton?
We did not ask people who
Well, let me
voted.
tell you, I know my friend Mr. Nadler had referenced, said, oh, you know, a big organization like that, it's probably just as many people supported Trump. When I heard Newt Gingrich yesterday said the fact is 97% of the people in the DOJ that donated to Democrats. 97%. So there's a good chance that the people that you're relying on did support Hillary Clinton. We don't know because you haven't asked. It's important to know who the investigators are and the people you're relying on. You mentioned in here in the report about Strzok and the relationship that he mentions with Judge Contreras. Do you know why Judge Contreras was recused, was removed from the Mike Flynn case?
I don't know why he was recused.
Or is that something you would investigate?
It's not within the scope of this investigation.
Well, I'm going to reinforce the request for the identities of the supervising special agent, the prosecutors and agents that were only identified by numbers, and ask who they contributed to, if anyone, in the last 2 cycles. Now, in your report, you said the SSA told us that the FBI did not consider Pagliano as a subject or someone to prosecute in connection. But this guy set up the unsecured server, as I understood it. This is a guy that you had a lay-down case, or the DOJ did, and yet they don't use that leverage. They don't treat him like they